This conference will now be recorded.
Hello all, good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning.
Yeah, so today we are going to discuss about IAM. So networking part we'll discuss on Monday, so which is very important. So today we discuss about IAM, Identity and Access Management. So which is also very important. Before going to networking, we need to know this IAM. Okay. It's Identity and Access Management. Fine. So before going to this, do you have any questions on yesterday's session?
So we'll be seeing EFS later on.
Yeah, EFS we'll discuss later. Correct. EFS and Glacier we'll discuss later. Once complete VPC and auto scaling, we'll discuss about EFS and Glacier.
CloudWatch also
Yeah.
later.
Yes, yes. CloudWatch also we'll discuss. Fine. So basically, what is IAM? So IAM is a web service that helps you to securely control your AWS resources. Okay. So also control who is authenticated, means who is signed in, and who is authorized, means who has permissions to use AWS resources, right? And IAM allows you to manage users and their level of access to the AWS console. And it is to set users permissions, roles, and it allows you to grant access to the different parts of the AWS account. Different parts. What is different parts of the AWS account? Different parts means different services. Okay. So basically, when user join into the project, okay. So what we will do as a senior DevOps engineer or as a architect, what we will do? So we'll assign some roles to the users. We create one user, IAM user, and we assign some roles to the user, and we assign some services to the user. Okay. And with IAM, organizations can centrally manage users and their level of access. Okay. So and IAM enables the organizations to create multiple users, each user's its own security credentials. Okay, fine. So next we have important features of IAM. What are those? Here, first one is important features of IAM. First one here is centralized control of AWS account. So what does it mean? What does it mean? Okay, so we can control creation, rotation, and cancellation of each users centrally. Okay, we can also control what data in the AWS system users can access and how they access, how they can access. You can control centrally. Okay, so this is centralized control of AWS account. Second one is eventually consists before that identity federation. Identity federation. What is federation? So in general, what is federation? Federation means it's a alliance. Okay, so it means that, so for example, in our organization, okay, so as a DevOps engineer, so what we can do here, so we have internal communicators, right? So Teams and Skype for Business we are using, right, for internal communication. So the same way, so using internal communicators, okay, so we can use we can communicate external users also. Using Teams and Skype for Business, we can communicate external users. How can we communicate external users? Because of federation. So backend federation will be enabled. So it will be enabled for only DevOps engineers, cloud engineers, data center engineers, like that. So developers will not have any access, testers will not have any access about this federation. Okay. For example, in our data center, we have local data center, we have Dell servers, Dell and HP servers. Okay. So if any server is down, or if any hardware failure, drive failure and RAID controller failure, or any main board failure, okay, so what we will do, simply we can raise a case with Dell. So Dell engineers will receive that case and they will start working on the issue, right? And also immediately, if you want to communicate with them, so directly you can chat through Teams or Skype for Business. So whenever federation is enabled, okay, we can chat with them. External users also we can chat. Also, we have Azure portal. We are using Azure in our environment. We have Europe projects. We are using Azure. Okay. So if any issue happened with the Azure services, so what we will do, we'll raise a case with Microsoft. So they will receive the request. Once we raise the case, they receive the request and they send some email. We received this request. We started working on this. This is the case number. My name is this. Like they will tell you. They will inform you through email. So by the time, so can directly chat with them. So what is the exact issue? What are the things? So as soon as possible, you need to resolve the issue. This is a production environment. Like, so whenever federation is enabled, we can communicate external users using this communicators, internal communicators. Okay. Any questions on this federation?
Like, sir, outside people you can communicate like this.
Yes, yes. So external users we can communicate from our organization. We are able to communicate Microsoft people, Wipro people, and Dell engineers, HP engineers. It will allow once it is enabled.
Okay.
Yeah. Third one is eventually consist. Eventually consist means IAM services eventually consist as it achieves high availability by replicating the data across the regions. So IAM is global service. It is not a region specific. It is a global service. Okay. So once we create IAM user in APACHE region, in Mumbai region, for example, okay, so the user can access from Americas region, Europe region, because this is global service. Eventually consist means IAM services eventually consist as it achieves high availability by replicating the data across the regions. Right. Next one is multi-factor authentication. What is this? multi-factor authentication. So multi-factor authentication means IAM provides multi-factor authentication as we need to enter username and password. Along with that username password, we need to enter security check codes to log in into the AWS console. Some 12-digit number we need to enter while connecting as a IAM user. So along with username and password, we need to enter security check code. Okay. So and also multi-factor authentication means, so for example, in real projects, what we will do. So we, as a DevOps engineer, we work on the console. Okay, and so we create some subscriptions and give to project teams. Subscription means account. So inside of our portal, we create one subscription and give it, we'll hand over to project team and we'll assign one owner of that subscription. That owner will create users, that owner will create resources, that owner can maintain all the things. So in case if any issue happened with that account for that subscription, so what we will do, we'll switch from our account to client account, client to subscription. Okay, we can simply switch to client account. That is nothing but multi-factor authentication. Okay. Any questions on this? Anyone? Before moving to lab, these are the important features. Yeah. So let us go ahead and create IAM user, and we can switch to IAM user, and we can assign some permissions to IAM user. How can we? How can the IAM user can access resources? We'll try to understand. So in real projects, what we will do. So normally when project one engineer, like one user join into the project. Okay. So we create one IAM user and they hand over to give it to user. So in real projects, we don't use root user. We always use IAM user. Even some freshers to directs level, so they use only IAM user. Root will be disabled in real projects. Okay, only IAM user we use. Right. So let us go and create one user. Yeah. So now if you want to create any IAM user, we need to go to services, click on services, go down here, security, identity, and compliance. Okay, so click on this IAM. Here I already having two users. So RAM user and user one. Okay. So now, yeah, this is my IAM dashboard. So this is my dashboard. Okay. So here we can check users, roles, identity providers. Okay. User groups, customer managed policies, different things available. And now what I will do, I'll go to users, click on users. I want to create one user here. So click on add user. I want to give some username Rama. Okay. So go down here, select AWS access type. So here we have two types of access, programmatic access and AWS management console access. Select second one, AWS management console access. So password. So console password, auto-generated password, and custom password. You can select custom password here. So auto-generated means it will generate automatically. So you can select custom password. So we need to give proper password with small letters, capital letters, and special characters. We need to give strong password here. Right? And next one is require password reset. So if you select this, what will happen? User must create a new password at next sign in. So whenever we sign in next time, by the time we need to create new password. So uncheck this. I don't want to change my password. Next, permissions. Okay. I don't want to create any groups now. Next, tags, tag name, IAM user. Next, check your information here, whatever details you give. Create user. Click on this. Yeah. So user is created. Rama user is created here, right? So whenever we create a user, see here, users with AWS Management Console access can be sent in at this URL. Some security check code is generated here. See here, 71185850. Yeah, 12-digit number generated. So using this URL, IAM user can access. Okay. So if it is normally in real projects, if you create like this, it will send one email to user. That user it will send email. So whenever user joined into the project, one user will be created, right? One user email ID will be created, right? So directly it will go to that user. Fine. Yeah. Next one is, so we can switch to user using this URL. We can switch to user, copy this URL, and we can use a different browser. So this is Chrome, right? I'm using.
Ram, one question.
Yeah.
So in real life project, do we create a user like this one by one? Because it may possible there are some hundreds or thousands of users. So we use some LDAP or something like that.
Yeah, basically we create only LDAP real projects. So if the company is big organization, so we always use LDAP. We don't use manual way. So LDAP is a bit costlier. Sometimes startup companies, small companies, they will not use LDAP. Okay. So if they have LDAP, normally we create LDAP users.
Okay. But is there any provision here in AWS also that at a time can we create some hundreds and thousands of users?
Yeah. So basically, in real projects, we don't create like this. We use TERRAFORM to create. Okay. We use different tools we use to create this users and all. So we'll see that later, advanced level. Okay. Yeah. So here, this is the user side. Okay, this is the Internet Explorer. I use this for user access. Okay, this is security check code. Okay, then IAM user password. Right. So I'm able to log in as a user. See here, this is my user, Rama user. Fine. So now what I will do, so I'll try to access S3 buckets. Okay, so go to see here. So this user we haven't provided any access. Okay, so that is why it is saying like you do not have permissions to list buckets. Okay, this is user side. So there is no permissions to list the buckets, even though read-only permissions also we haven't provided to the user. So it doesn't have any permissions. Read-only permissions also not applied to the users, right? Now, what I will do, go to root side. So this is root, open users. This is the RAM user. This is the root user. So open user here. Okay. So I want to apply some permissions here. Okay. So if I want to apply permissions, go to add permissions, click on this, attach existing policies, click on this. Okay. So on S3 bucket, S3, I want to give read-only permissions. On S3, I want to give a read-only permissions. Right? So this is read-only permissions. Okay, we have applied to this user, Rama user, read-only permissions on S3 bucket. Now go to user side. So this is user side, Rama user. So refresh this. Right? So there is no S3 buckets on root user. That is why is unable to see any buckets, but there is no errors. So you can read the data. You can read the buckets, whatever buckets are available inside of the console. You can read the data. So let me go to one. I want to add one bucket here from root side. This is the bucket I created now. So go to user side, refresh here. So is able to see the buckets. So whatever buckets are available, you can open the bucket, you can see the things, whatever the buckets are available, right? So now user side, you want to create one bucket. User side, you want to create one bucket here. So go to, yeah, this is user side, okay, Rama user, S3. Now create bucket. Some name we are giving different name. Create bucket. See here. What it is saying, fail to create bucket. Okay. So because there is no permissions to create bucket. Okay. So it will not allow you to create bucket because this user is not having any permissions. So now go back to root user. This is RAM user, a root user. So here what I will do, I will provide full permissions on S3 bucket. So go to users. Open users, open Rama user. Yeah. So this is Rama user. So I want to add some permissions to Rama user. Add permissions. Attach existing policies. S3. S3 full access. Select this. Next. Add permissions. Right. So we have given full permissions on S3 bucket to the Rama user. Now go to our user side, Rama user side. So this is Rama user. Okay. Now go back to S3. Now it's time to create S3 bucket here. So create bucket, click on this, give some name, different name. Now he's able to create S3 bucket. So whenever we apply permissions, okay, on the fly, it will be reflected. The permissions will be reflected on the fly, right? So he's able to create S3 bucket here. Okay. Now he's able to delete the bucket. He's able to modify the things because he's having full permissions on S3 bucket. Now he's able to delete the buckets. Fine. So next one is so now what we will do, we create one group and we add that user into group. Okay. Go to root side. This is the root side, right? So go to so some reflections will not be. This is the root side. Okay. So click on groups. There is no groups here. Okay. So I want to create one group here. I want to create one group. Yeah. So there is no groups here, right? So I want to create one group here. Click on create group, group name. So I give DevOps group. Right? Click on create group. I haven't provided any permissions to this group. So group is created. Permissions not defined. Okay. So now what I will do, I will add this user into DevOps group. Right. So I want to add this user. Click on users, open the user, click on groups, add user to groups, click on this, open the group, second. See here. So this is a Rama user. Okay. So I want to add this Rama user to group which we created. Okay. So add user to groups. Click on this. Which user you want to, yeah. So user you want to add into group, right? So click on select this group. So whatever groups are available inside of your console, okay, it will be available here. So you can select what group you want to select, what group, in which group you want to add this user. You need to select this and add to groups. Click on this. Fine. So this user is added into this group, DevOps group. Okay. Now go to user side. This is Rama user. Now he's trying to access EC2 instance. Okay, so click on services, EC2. Instances running. See here. So whenever you open this EC2, what it is saying? API error. Instances running API error, elastic IPs API error. So key pairs API error. Like this, all these things, these are showing errors because it's not having any permissions to access EC2. So here what we will do, we'll apply permissions to group only. So whoever users available in the group, those users will be affected with the permissions which apply to group, right? So now what I will do, so here is unable to see any services here available. So key pairs, placement groups, nothing is available. Volumes, it's not able to see anything. Okay. Now if you go to root side, root side is able to see all the instances running, zero, elastic IPs, key pairs, placement groups, snapshots, all these things. But user side is not able to see these resources, right? So now what I will do, I apply permissions to group for read-only permissions I apply. Okay. So go back to IAM user, IAM. This is the root side. So open groups, click on groups. So this is our group, right? So select group. Okay. Now we can add permissions to group. Click on permissions. So click on attach policies, click on this. So I want to give EC2 read-only permissions to this group. EC2 EC2 full access and read-only access. Select this, add permissions. Now we applied permissions to group as read-only access, right? So go to user side, click on this, refresh this. See here, this is user side. Whenever we apply permissions, read-only permissions, is able to see all the resources inside of the EC2, right? Now is trying to create one EC2 instance, whether is able to create or not. Let us try to understand. Launch instance. Select instance. Configure instance. See here, it is saying it is giving errors. Now go to next storage. add tags. You can give some tag here, name like test server, content security groups, existing security group, review and launch instance. Keep it launch instance. Now what it is saying, fail to launch instance. You are not authorized to perform this operation, right? So means that what will happen here? So that group is not having any permissions. Only read-only permissions we apply to the group. That is why this is unable to unable to create the EC2 instance. Now what we will do? We'll go back to root side and give permissions to this group as full permissions on EC2. EC2 full access you can apply. So, attach policy hello. So EC2 full access. Yeah. This one EC2 full access. This one we need to select. Okay, different things are available. So health full access and the marketplace full access, not like that. EC2 full access. You can select this. Add permissions. Now is having full access on EC2. So go back to user side. So this is user side. Launch instance. Select instance. Configure instance. Add storage. Tags. Some tag name you can do. Configure security group. And select some security group. Existing one. Review and launch. Launch instance. Select key pair. Launch instance. Now it's able to launch the instance. See here. So because he's having full permissions on EC2, you can delete the instances, you can create the instances, you can modify the instances, whatever you want to do, you can perform the activities on EC2. Okay. So this is the way we can apply. Normally in real-time projects, we don't apply individuals. We don't apply permissions to individuals. We apply permissions to groups. Okay, and we add the users into group. So whatever permissions we attach to groups, those will be applicable to, okay, reflect to users. Okay, so normally in real projects we apply permissions to groups on, right? And the next one is here. Some, yeah, up to here. Any questions, anyone?
Sir, what are the created user level instance? They replicate to root level, sir.
Replicate to root level, not like that.
Same instant will replicate to root user, sir. No.
Yeah. So in root console, yeah, it will replicate. So because, so if you see here, so the same console, different way we are accessing.
Okay. Okay.
So for example, So same console in real projects, what will happen? For example, you and me and others, 10 members are there in our project. Okay. So we all are accessing same portal with different permissions. See here. So server is available here also and user side also. So the same console, but different user permissions, different users are accessing this. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. So you can terminate the servers, you can edit the servers, you can create the servers because he's having full permissions on EC2 instance. Go to root side. Also, some important things are available here. So let us quickly go and check that. So click on account settings. Okay. Change password policy. This is very, very important. This will be maintained by architects and managers. Okay. What is this password policy? Open this. Say here. So enforce minimum password length. Okay. So as per the project standards, we maintain some password length. Okay. So here by default it is showing 8 characters. So if you want to maintain 11 characters, you can give 11 characters here. Okay. And also require at least one uppercase letter from Latin alphabet. If you select this, so what will happen? While changing the password, it will ask you at least one uppercase. Require at least one lowercase. Select this one lowercase, it will ask you. Require at least one number. So it will ask you one number. Require at least one non-alphabetic character, means special character. Select this, it will ask one special character. So enable password expiration. So yeah, every 60 days or 90 days, it will ask you to change some your password, right? Password will be expired. So it will ask you to change or update your password for security reasons, right? So 90 days, you can, if you want to modify into 60 days, you can modify. And password expirations require administrator reset. If you want to select, you can select. Allow users to change their own password. Next one is prevent password reuse. What is this? So last 5 passwords or 10 passwords, if you give like 5, last 5 passwords we cannot use. The users cannot use. It will not allow you to use last 5 passwords, because in real projects what the users will do again and again, they will recreate the same password. That is why, so here, so prevent password reuse. If you give 5 or 6, so last 6 passwords or 5 passwords, it will not allow you to create again. Okay, so this is very, very important. Set password policy as per the project standards. So we set this password policy. And also one more thing, credential reports. Credential report. What is this? So credential report will be maintained by architects and managers. If you click on download report, these are the credential users available for this users credential report. Okay. So here if you check user creation time, password enabled, password last used, password last changed, password next rotation, MFA active. So these are the things available. So user details, all the details will be available inside of this report, credential report. So this will be maintained by normally in real projects. So managers and architects will maintain these credentials. If anything goes wrong with the user, so you can verify this. Okay. So these reports will be saved in some central path. So whenever needed, whenever you want to verify this, you can open this and you can verify. Right. So these are the things. These are the very important things. Okay. Any questions up to here? So this you can practice. This is very, very important. If you are a senior DevOps engineer, you need to create users. You need to handle the users. Okay, that is why you need to practice this. And tomorrow we'll work on AWS backup. So Monday we'll start working on networking part, and also we have other storages, auto scaling, different things available. Okay, tomorrow we'll work on AWS backup. Okay, yeah. So you can practice this. If you have any questions, you can post in the group. Then we'll discuss. Fine. So we stop here for today. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.